So today we are going to be talking about the vertical line test. So you're all welcome once again to Prince D TV. As you all know, we began looking at functions in the last episode. So today we just want to look how we can also be able to determine if a graph is a function or not. So a graph, which is a relation, how can we tell if a graph is drawn or given? How can we tell if it is a function or not? So the basic ideas here that you need to know, the key points of that, for you to know if a graph... Hey, keep quiet. Shh. We are teaching. For we to know if a graph is a function, first, like we all know, for a function, it has its rule, and it is a one-to-one, exactly one-to-one mapping or connection or relationship, right? So if that graph, just imagine a vertical line moving along the x-axis, so the horizontal line on a graph. If that line touches the graph, okay, at just one point, it means it is a function. But in a case where the graph is touching, the function, the graph is touching the vertical line, rather is touching the vertical line. In the case where the vertical line is touching the graph at two or more points, more than one, it means that is no longer a function. It is a mapping. All right. You are disturbing this class, Mama. Say something. Say hi. Say hi. Say how are you? Say, did you get the understanding? So, without wasting much time, we are going to look at a practical example, draw some graphs so that we can see clearly if it is a single point that is touching or it's a multiple point. You want to go to Bangladesh? Okay, go to Hi, Prince D TV fam. Once again, you are highly welcome. I sincerely apologize for the slight interruption earlier. Beg your pardon, please. So, just like we said, we'll be looking at those graphs, how we can determine. So, straight away, without wasting much of your time, let's dive into this properly. So, we'll get some few graphs, then from there, we'll be able to identify them. So for example, we have the first one. So please, I'll just take it down. Let your name be glorified. Yahweh has come. Let your name be glorified. Yahweh has come. Let your name be Alright, welcome back. So I can call this graph A. So we have graph A and we have graph B. Okay, so vertically, like this is the vertical line and the horizontal line. So of course the vertical line here is always known as the y-axis. Y-axis, the vertical line, is always known as the y-axis. And of course, the horizontal line is always known as the x-axis. The x-axis. Good. So just like I was saying before, that imagine a vertical line. So a vertical line, any line that is something like this, coming down from top to bottom, these are vertical lines. So we notice what I've drawn, these are vertical lines in that manner. Must not necessarily be straight. So imagine those vertical lines for graph A. Let's begin with graph A. This is a vertical line. So we said for a graph like this, if you know a function, it can be drawn as a graph, right? So just imagine if you are able to tell if a function is like we did in the previous episode, determine. But now what if just a graph of that function is given to you? Will you not be able to determine or tell if that is a function or not? No, that's not an issue for you. And in case it was earlier, then I can assure you that after this, you will be able to tell if a function given its graph, right? Sorry, a relation given its graph, it's a function or not. So we begin with A. A function, it's a one-to-one correspondence, exactly one element to the output set, right? So we said earlier, if that vertical line of that graph is touching the graph exactly at one point, this is our graph, the y-axis and the x-axis, the xy plane. So this is the graph we have drawn, and we said if that vertical line is touching, this is the line of the graph, it is touching the graph exactly at one point, right? It means this is the graph. So when you look at your xy plane, xy axis, if you like, if it is touching it, just imagine this is it, this point. So we have this is 1 point. 1 point. Let's move to B. We'll come back to A. Remember, we have 1 point touching the graph. We have second point. So first point or second point. And of course, we have a third point. I can take it in that order like that. So it's touching the graph, the plane. Okay. Now, for graph A, you will notice that it touches it just at 1 point. What does that tell us? A function. It's a one-to-one correspondence. So because it's touching it exactly at only 1 point, it means this graph is a graph of a function. It validates the role of a function. Now with graph B, you will notice that we have 1 point touching the graph exactly 1, 2, and of course 3, touching it. Okay, so it is more than 1 point. So it is no longer exactly a one-to-one correspondent. So it already tells us that there are more than one output in the second set or whatever set that it may be. So you notice that we have 1, 2, 3. So more than, greater than, so for example, more than 1 point. Sorry. So more than 1 point. I'm using the greater than sign, which means greater than 1 point. So this implies not a function. Not a function. So graph B is not a function, whereas graph A is a function. All right. So that's it. That's that for that. I believe we've exhausted the most important stuff here. So just to highlight again, so you notice that when the vertical line is touching more than 1 point, it shows that there are more than one output. Okay, but when it's touching exactly one point, it means that the inputs are mapping or related or connected to exactly one element in the other set. So back again, a recap. So we have just used the vertical line test. So the vertical, so all what we have been doing is known as the vertical line test. This is what we have used to be able to determine if a graph is a function or not. The vertical line test. And of course, it is just a quick and easy way to check if a relation is a function or not. So all what we have exhausted in this tutorial is the vertical line test. A quick and easy way for you to tell if a relation, right, given its graph, it's either a function or not. However, we have seen all the procedures using the test, and we are using just points. Okay, so I now believe that you have added to your understanding of functions, right? So with this, not just at the preliminary stage, but you can also extend as well to graphs and be able to tell if those are functions or not. Thank you so much. As always, we advise you to try to share to someone who might find it helpful. Comment, bring your opinions in the comment section, and of course, we will be more than grateful if you bring us ideas of what we should touch in the subsequent tutorials. Thank you so much. As usual, I remain your boy, Prince D. Much love and God bless.